Going live in about 1 minute, family. Going live in about 1 minute, family. Tag some people in right quick. Hope everybody's staying warm out there. All right. Tag some people in right quick. Hope everybody's staying warm out there. Tag one more person in and we're good. And we are on. Greetings, family. Greetings. My name is Minister Paul Scott, a.k.a. the Truth Minister. Minister of Information for the Durham, North Carolina-based Black Hoodie Brigade. And for those who don't know what the Black Hoodie Brigade is, our mission is to spread knowledge around the Bull City. One book, one person at a time. Because people are like, well, brother, I haven't read 1,000 books or 100 books on Black history. One book at a time. We have a four-point program. Obtain a book. Study that book. Teach what you learned in that one book to somebody else. Get another book and repeat the process. Again, obtain a book. Study that book. Teach what you learned in that one book. Grab another book and repeat the process. One person, one book at a time. Black Hoodie Brigade. Our motto is, knowledge is a weapon. Knowledge is a weapon. Spreading knowledge around the Bull City. Getting ready to bring in our Minister of Politics, Brother Dale Freeman. What's going on, Brother Dale?
Peace. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You're good.
Peace.
Yeah,
Black
tonight
power.
there's been so much controversy, so much discussion over the Kendrick Lamar halftime show and Serena Williams halftime show. I said it'd be a good topic to discuss. Everybody that got their, piece off, everybody has gotten their opinion out. So it'd be a good time to, since the smoke is scheduled, smoke has settled. It'd be a good time to look at it at a more analytical basis. So I got a couple of books I'm using as a foundation. Black Power by Kwame Ture and Charles Hamilton, because he goes into the power to define.
Okay.
The psychopathic racial. Go ahead, brother.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
The psychopathic racial personality, Dr. Bobby E. Wright. And of course, the ISIS papers by Dr. Francis Cress Welch. If we're talking about symbolism and what symbolism means. And brother, if you have Neely Fuller's book, I gave mine away to my nephew. That'd be great.
No, the key, what is it? The psycho, I forget the name of it.
The code book, Neely Fuller.
Yeah. I don't have it.
Yeah, my nephew came through one year. He begged for it and begged for it. I'm like, just take it, man. Because basically, Neely Fuller's book.
And that's fine. That's what we do, right? I gave away one of Sheikh Anta Joke Diop's books on African origin of Western civilization. And the only thing I asked was that he read it. And I asked him a year later, did he read it? He said, no. I said, I want my book back.
Yeah.
Because I don't see that's where you and I are very different. You give out books. I don't give out. I don't give out my books. I'll buy more than one copy, but I'm definitely gonna have a copy of my own, and I don't give those.
Yeah, that's why I hit McKay's every weekend.
Yeah, facts. Shout out
Because
to McKay.
yeah, because McKay's has those books like for 75 cents. And they got Dwap's books in. I think Dwap's books like $3.
Yeah, the book is the United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept, a textbook workbook for thought, speech, and/or action for victims of racism, white supremacy. That's the
Yeah,
one,
even if
right?
you go on the website or somebody goes on the website,
Mm-hmm.
what they do is he actually puts things in the framework. He gives 9 areas of human interaction.
Right.
I can't name off the top, like law, labor, entertainment, et cetera, et cetera.
Sex, the law, yeah, I can't name them all off the top of my head either, but yeah.
Yeah,
And
but I think Dr. Francis Cress Wilson gives 10, but he gives 9.
mm-hmm.
And it kind of helps you put it in a framework. And if you read it the wrong way, he kind of hard on black folks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he kind of hard on black folks. So you got to be in a state of mind that, take it as it is. Because he, a esteemed elder just passed away last week.
Last week, yeah.
At 95 years old.
Yeah, he lived to be. So the 9 areas are economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war/counter war.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So anything we deal with as you would say Nubian people, African people, black people, however you decide to self-identify,
right.
He says it could fit in one of those 9 categories.
Yeah, and he says, and I think one of the points he's making is in every area that's listed, there's one group at the top and one at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in every group. And there's no group where one dominant group is not over the other groups.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's why he goes on to say that there's only really one form of racism in existence in the world on the planet, and it's the system of white supremacy.
Yeah, that's what we have to do.
Everything else is a reaction to that.
Mm-hmm. The other part of that, if you don't understand the function of white supremacy, everything else will just confuse you.
Everything that you think you understand,
yeah,
will only confuse you.
So I think that should be one of our major talking points.
That's right.
Because there's so much work now, so much sophisticated racism.
Yeah, it's subtle. So it goes back to my podcast, not this past weekend before last, on coded language, aka dog whistles, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that interview, that famous interview with Lee Atwater, if people don't know who he is, you need to acquaint yourself, at least have a familiarity with who he is, because he's a major player in early 80s politics on into the beginning of the 90s. He was heavily involved in, he plainly says, okay, you start out in 54 saying nigger, nigger, nigger. By 68, you can't say that because it hurts you.
Yeah.
So you talk about these abstract things like busing and taxes, which hurts black people more than it hurts whites. So he said, and at the end he said, so regardless of how you look at it, you're getting further and further away from the race question. Now that's where I disagree with him. You're not getting further away from it. You're just calling it something else. It's semantic.
And you're right, brother. And before we get into the shout out to Sister Letitia, who's in the chat, we are starting a fact attack division of the study group. Since everybody wants to diss Durham and spread misinformation about Durham, let's get them.
You said a fact attack?
The fact attack. The Black Hoodie Brigade fact attack.
Okay.
Since they want to diss Durham so bad with their misinformation.
Right.
Let's get them.
Okay. What kind of misinformation are you hearing, brother?
If you go on, anytime there's a shooting or any crime in Durham, go on WRL or WTVD's fake, I said fake book, Floridian script, slip, fake book page. It meant to come out.
Said the quiet
And you
part
will
out
see
loud.
everybody attacking Durham. Everybody attacking Durham. That's how they are. That's what they do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
somebody got to fight back. I was the
Yeah,
one that
and
really
the bad part is many of us buy into it, and perpetuate that. So that's I think that should be the focus. We already know what those on the outside think of us, but the ones that I am hyper aware of are the ones of those in my own tribe, because they have been the biggest problem to the movement, in my opinion. Because they get close and you don't understand, you don't know who they are until it's too late.
I know you read the Certified Director Uncle Tom's, right?
I am familiar with it. I have not read it.
That book's hard to find, though. I mean, you can get it off Amazon, but as far as stumbling across it, I got it on my shelf.
Yeah, why you talking about books? So this one.
Oh yeah, those the ones you gave me. Full disclosure, you gave me some copies to give on the block, which I did.
Yeah, Addicted to White. Just to talk about Black Hoodie Brigade and the study group and what we do. That's one book that's on my list. I'm reading When Egypt Ruled the East now by Keith Seeley, and I forget who the other guy is.
What's the name of it?
When Egypt Ruled the East.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I showed you that book at the Kwanzaa thing, I think. Yeah. I haven't finished that one yet, and I try to kind of do one at a time. This is another good book if somebody wants to read. Blood at the Root by Patrick Phillips. This is about I forget the name of the county. Hold on. Forsyth County. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene, where she's from. Forsyth County, Georgia. Talks about Oscarville, Georgia. Google that and see where Oscarville is. It's under Lake Lanier now. And then find out why it got there, how it got there, and then you'll be on to what we're talking about here tonight. But that's just a couple books.
Yeah, I got a book called, it's about ethnic cleansing. I mean, racial cleansing, right?
Yeah. So Forsyth County in the beginning of the 20th century had I won't say sizable, but it had a Black population. Shortly around 1913, the Red Summer and all that, they, because of a report, some women were harmed, some white women were harmed in the county, and it was alleged to be at the hands of some person, of some Black person, some newbie. And so they rounded up 5 or 6 people that they thought were involved, and they hung them. But before they hung them, they actually tried to go in to the jail and get them out. And it was a onlooker, like when they were getting riled up, they all got stirred up and met at the town square where the courthouse was. When they all got riled up, it was a Black onlooker that wasn't involved, was watching. For some reason, he pissed them off, and they killed him and drug him around the town square a few times, and then hung him up at the courthouse. And he wasn't even involved. And then the people that they alleged to have done it, they hung them in public display, and it was supposed to be it wasn't supposed to be witnesses, but they did it in an open field so everybody could see it. Built up a stage and all kinds of shit. So like it was a public show to show the people, the white people of Forsyth County what would happen, and particularly to show the Black people what would happen if you were suspected of harming somebody, Caucasian or European.
I have a book called Bitter Waters that kind of goes on that same thing.
Yeah.
But it really focuses on, there it is right there. It focuses on how you had these predominantly Black cities or totally Black cities, and one day they just disappeared.
Right. Right. Yeah, they
One day
use
you driving through and seeing black folks, the next day you see nobody.
yeah, because it was they basically in Forsyth County in Oscarville, they basically told them, don't be here tomorrow. Like we don't care.
Yeah,
We don't
that
care.
really happened. It was a place in North Carolina that happened.
Spartanburg, South Carolina, it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, all over the wherever black people were, especially after.
Keep talking. I'm gonna grab the book. Keep talking.
Okay. Yeah, wherever black people were in large numbers, particularly in the South, there were what you can only call domestic incidents of domestic terrorism, where black people were unceremoniously told to leave, and then what they do is, after the people abandon the land, if they don't pay taxes on it, they go through. It's a tax lien placed on it. They buy the lien and they get the land at next to nothing. So that's how black people lost a lot of land. I used to wonder, like they said, we lost so much land during the Great Migration. I wonder how, and that's how, through tax liens.
Yeah. That's crazy, brother.
I didn't know if it was about Drake or the revolution. I knew it was a message, but I didn't know what it was about. I was confused. Sister Mallory. Peace, Sister Mallory.
No, Megaphone Mal, you good. We just slide into the topic. We're gonna get there in a minute. But you on point, Sister Matt, the world famous Mallory Thornton, aka Megaphone Mal. Mallory, if you want to come on, I know you camera shy, but if you want to come on, I send you the link. Just let me know.
Peace.
But here's the book I was talking about, there. Buried in Bitter Waters.
Okay.
Hidden History of Racial Cleansing in America. Good book.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. Why is that history hidden? That's a topic for another night.
You got this right. Exterminate All Brutes.
So I watched the HBO special. I don't have the book. Okay. What Raoul Peck did the documentary based on the book, and it's powerful. I recommend, if you haven't seen it, please do.
Gotcha. I think I watched part of it.
Yeah, Exterminate All the Brutes on HBO. It's on HBO Max.
All right, give me something to do tonight. Yeah. But yes, since at the request of the world famous Megaphone Mal, let's get into the topic. Yeah. Brother Dale, by now everybody has talked about, seen the memes about Kendrick Lamar's halftime show / the sea walk that Serena Williams did. So let's get into that, brother. The topic tonight is, do you think it was good for black folks in general or bad, the whole halftime show? There's no right or wrong answers, y'all. So feel free to chime in.
So I'm a qualify or preface my answers by saying, I think black people in America in particular, and I don't like to speak for black people as a group because we're not monolithic. We hear that all the time. But I think we're so traumatized that when something happens that is of benefit to us or in our favor, that we don't even know how to take it. We paranoid, like we psych ourselves out, so to speak. You know what I mean? So now I'll answer your question. Was it good or bad? It was good to me. And the reason why is because of the political moves that have been being made by certain people are anti-black, and on one of the biggest platforms that you can have, Kendrick Lamar and his team decided to stage basically a spoken word protest to say that black is beautiful and we are here and we're going to let you know that we don't like what you're doing.
Right.
So I can't see and certain people were in attendance, and I think it was the timing was perfect. And when you talk about propaganda is not the fact that propaganda is being used is going to be used. It's the way it's being used. It's being used for what you would consider a positive or a negative reason. So it can be used for both purposes. so I said,
Repeat what you just said, brother, because that was key.
Yeah. So when you talk about propaganda, it's not the fact that propaganda is being used. It's that it's the purpose that it's being used for, and whether you consider that purpose, I guess, good or bad, if you want to frame it that way. You know what I mean? If it's for a positive or a negative purpose. So, there are positive uses of propaganda. We usually hear it with a negative connotation, right? But this was propaganda that it was just a moment of expression, just to express everything that Black people are feeling. You know what I'm saying? So, and the subtle metaphors, a lot of people say they didn't get it. It's art. You can't. Everybody's not going to get any one artistic piece. People are going to like it and dislike it. But what I would say is, for me, and the way I operate is, I am very slow to criticize Black people for anything if I don't show the same energy to people outside of our culture.
But what you said is key, bro. Anything can be used for propaganda. It's all the way you use it.
Yeah.
But continue, brother. I'm trying to tag Mile and it's not letting me.
One brother said redundant. I don't know if that's for you or me. One brother said love the show and symbolism, but the lyrics message needs to be concise. I don't think Kendrick should be the voice of the people. And I don't think Kendrick is trying to be the voice for the people. I think Kendrick is trying to do his part for the movement. And interesting that the brother Jeremiah said that, because I saw a clip with Nina Simone today, and she said that artists should, be performing art that speaks to the times. So you can be an artist, but you can be a revolutionary artist. But it depends on what kind of artist you want to be. And it's all different kinds of artists, and it's all different kinds of art. So when you start trying to classify art, you going off on a it's a fool's errand to me.
Right. Because art is really up to the interpretation.
Yeah, Brother Sharif said we are the only people that have entertainers speak for us. That's very true. But we don't only have, well, I guess Stephen A. Smith is an entertainer too, but what typically tends to happen in the mainstream media is the ones that are disparaging of Black people are allowed to speak. And Kendrick, in this case, was not disparaging of Black people. He didn't have any hoochie mamas or nothing like that. Everybody had a big problem with Kamala having Meg Thee Stallion at the National Convention. Kendrick didn't have any of that. So if I wanted to be a pessimist or cynical, I could say nobody would have been happy with whatever he did. And then what I would follow up by saying, I would say, you do one and let us judge yours. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, I thought it was fantastic. A. Smith Jr. said, how can you be a revolutionary at a halftime show? You want to answer that?
I mean,
I'm a revolutionary wherever I stand.
Yeah, everybody has the opportunity to be a revolutionary in their own way. We can't put it all on entertainers, because that's what my thing is. Everything is local.
Yeah.
Everything is
local. I'm a revolutionary. I'm a revolutionary at work. I'm a revolutionary at home. I'm a revolutionary when I wake up in the morning. So, I don't really understand that question.
Yeah. That's what the elders taught me back in the day. You got to find a level where you can be comfortable 24 hours a day, whether you're on social media or in the hood. That's why I be in the hood. Right. So I ain't going to have nobody rolling up on me and said, I don't like what you said on social media. What I say on social media, I'm going to say in the hood.
Yeah.
That's why hood work is important, because it keeps you within boundaries.
So what did you think?
I sent you the link, Mal, in your
Yeah.
inbox.
What did you think, Brother Paul, of the performance?
My position is, whatever's going to move the people forward.
Right.
I mean, I'm from the old school. Joy, if you want to come in, I can send you the link too.
Yeah.
Our ambassador, shout out to Joy, who is our ambassador for the Black Hoodie Brigade Special Forces. If you want to come in, I can send you the link. Just let me know, Joy. Mal already inboxed you the link, so just hit the link. But my thing is, at this age, is everything is based on how it's going to move the people forward. And I think personally, you got to meet the people where they're at. And if people are there, that's what you got to work with.
Right.
If everybody's feeling it, use it as a teachable moment.
Yeah.
You use it as a teachable moment. And anything, like you said, is propaganda. Whichever way is going to move our people forward. And I think in this case, kind of embracing it and controlling the narrative. Huey P. Newton, and I think it's in his book, Revolutionary Suicide. He said that the definition of power is the ability to shape phenomenon and make it act in a define phenomena and make it move in a desired manner. Let me clean that up.
Deep. That's deep. So you mentioned Serena Williams and the Seawalk. Why? Speak on that.
I mean, the question I would have for the street cats who may be watching, does that mean that civilians can do it too? Can I go out in the streets and start doing that walk without any problems? Because California does things differently.
Yeah,
the LA thing is different. They got a whole different embedded culture.
Right.
So, is it cool now to, you got to check in for everything else? Is it cool now to just do that out in public?
I can't speak on what should be done because I'm not in any way affiliated, nor have I ever been with any organization of that nature. So I don't know, but I mean, like we were talking about earlier, my MO is know where you at. So like I don't go into neighborhoods I'm unfamiliar with and try to make draw attention to myself, if you will. I'm gonna try to be respectful and understand but like I said, Fat Joe in Lean Back, he got a line about everybody's doing. He said B2K Crip walking like that's what's up. You know what I mean? Even little Bow Wow throwing it up. You know what I'm saying? So gang culture is involved in hip hop. It's not like this is new. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's way deeper than that. But out of all the symbolism in that performance, that, in my opinion, she from Compton. So I don't know what kind of pass she got. And I saw a lot of people on social media talking about her sister was murdered. She had a sister that lost her life due to something that might have been gang related or whatever the case may be. But and she was doing it. But all of that to me seemed like they was trying to poo-poo on the performance. Like that. First of all, she did it when she won Wimbledon. I don't remember this discussion, when that happened. I don't remember. I mean, it might have happened, I ain't see it.
It was. She did a little dance on, but it's easy on Wimbledon but it's easy for entertainers because they got money to pay people off. You know what I mean? I'm talking about the average kid going to that's cute and go out the street and start sea walking.
Right. Yeah. I wouldn't advise if you're not familiar with gang culture, like I wouldn't advise anybody to go out and do anything that might be gang related
And
because
to
you're
you
gonna get caught.
hypocrites, older folks who are hypocrites, you know good and well there are 50, 60-year-old frat boys who will fight you for doing their steps. No, they're professional doctors and lawyers and politicians who
And you
will
go out
fight
there and
you.
try to do a cue dog, they'll beat you down.
Yeah, so what do you expect from teenagers? What do you expect for teenagers if they try? But anyway,
That's a fair
we
question.
have the we have the pleasure of bringing Megaphone Mile in, and you know she really doesn't do talk shows like this. So
I
anytime
don't, but I love y'all so
Mal
much.
pulls up, she got something on her heart. Mal, you said something, and I want to bring that in.
Mm-hmm.
Mal is our Minister of Justice, Black Hoodie Brigade. For those,
Peace and black power, y'all.
Black
yes,
power.
sir, yes, sister, yes, sister, yes, sister. Honor to have you up here. But you brought up a contradiction
Mm-hmm.
that people are kind of addressing. Was it about unity? Was it about uniting Compton? Was it about Black history and Black culture? Or was it just a Drake diss? That's a good point.
And see, and that's the thing that confused me because as I was laying down on the couch, I'm excited. Oh, I see Paul. Are you still talking, Paul?
Huh?
I have a lag. Okay, so I'm laying on the couch and I'm watching it. I'm excited because I love Kendrick's music. So when it comes to Kendrick and Drake's beef, I know nothing about that. When it comes to the gangs and the crip walking, Serena on the stage, I don't know anything about the beef between her and Drake. I don't know anything about that. I don't do drama. I don't like rappers beefs. None of that. So when I would see on social media with Drake and Kendrick going at it, I ignored it. So, like I said, when I seen that he was performing, like I'm excited. I'm excited about the songs. But the first thing I screamed within 5 minutes, I'm like, hold up. I know it's a message here, but I'm confused.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I expected to see was Black Fist, the revolutionary flag. You know what I'm saying? Like I was confused with,
Right.
the dancing, the colors that was going on. I was confused with the card, and I'm confused with the lyrics because I'm trying to piece everything together. But I was just confused. That's why I said it was trash to me.
But yeah, so yeah, I get it. And a lot of people complain. A lot of people complain about the audio too. They say they couldn't really hear. Um, and
I thought the audio was perfect. If you like, I know that song. They not like
oh,
us.
okay.
I
So
know
you
that.
yeah. So I don't know any of his songs. That's
Yeah.
way after me. I'm
But we
old.
know who we really know who was complaining about the lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
We
They
do know.
never heard. They don't even know who Kendrick Lamar is. But
Exactly. Kendrick just
yeah.
had me confused
But see,
with like,
it starts off with Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam.
and that made me upset. But then I'm sitting here like
That
trying to
made you
figure it
upset. Why?
out. Cause I'm like, are we talking about Uncle Sam? Cause I did make a post. I said I know good and doggone well they ain't got him up here acting like Uncle Sam. Then I'm like, okay, are they referring to him as Uncle Tom? But see, a lot of people don't even know who Uncle Tom really is. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
sitting here like, are they trying to educate the people on who Uncle Tom is? But then as I stroll
So
my timeline, I see that a lot of people was calling him Uncle Sam. But do some homework tonight, guys. Find out who Uncle Tom really is. So I'm glad he did come out like that. So
right.
to figure out who Uncle Tom is, because Uncle Tom really isn't who we think he is. We only
No, he's
know
not.
of Uncle Tom of what the white man told us who he was.
Yeah,
So I
it's
think that
based
that was
off.
a good thing to get people, to thinking about who he came out to be.
Yeah, and Uncle Tom is based on a character from Uncle Tom's Cabin in a book by Harriet Beecher Stowe, and he
Mm-hmm.
was a good guy.
Exactly.
Sambo and Quimbo were the bad guys. They were the bad. They
Exactly.
were the Uncle Toms that we think of. Um, yeah, just to
Anybody
clear
wants
that
to
up.
copy that book? I got a couple of copies.
I need it.
But so this is what you also have to consider too. Now Samuel Jackson played a role in what movie?
Durang,
Django.
Durang, Django
Django,
boogie.
right,
Okay.
as Steven. So, and then you have to listen to what he was saying to Kendrick when Kendrick was switching songs and stuff, So he was saying like, "Hey, don't be dangerous. You're gonna scare. They're gonna kill us."
Hmm.
So Yeah, he was in essence he was Uncle Tom, and it was playing on the Django role, and he was the person in our community who was always telling us what the oppressor wants us to do. That's the way I took it. So you're exactly right in essence.
Yeah, because when he came on, he kind of Samuel L. Jackson kind of said Uncle, like he was going to go Uncle Tom. I peeped that.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
and that's what
I
it was.
peeped
It
that.
was based on Django, and it was based on Stephen and Stephen caping for the people who want to keep us in chains, for lack of a better term, right? The people who want to keep us oppressed, and those in our community like them who want to tell us to do what, like, don't stir them up. Just like when Dr. King was alive, I had an OG tell me, like, people didn't rock with Dr. King like that. They didn't rock with Dr. King until he got killed. A lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? So,
Even
And
the
I think we need to
National
start having
Baptist Convention
conversations about
didn't
that
rock with him.
too.
say it again, man.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Now I was just saying, even the National Baptist Convention, they got into a fight. I think one man got killed at the National Baptist Convention over Dr. King.
Right.
People
Mm.
don't talk about it.
Right, and there was a murder of a young brother in Cicero, Illinois, which was highly segregated in like a sundown town in Chicago, outside of Chicago. He wanted to go in, and the ministers in Chicago wrote a letter to the Chicago Tribune saying they didn't want him to come. This was shortly before he was killed. So
Mhm.
like people turned their back on Dr. King. They act like they marched with him. No, they didn't.
And they turned it back on him when he spoke out against Vietnam. But we got, I knew the ambassador couldn't resist coming in.
But
Even
what
though
about
she,
the other reasons why they turned their back on Dr. King? And I think that's the conversation that we need to be talking about. Because you know why I feel like we need to be talking about it? Because what did Trump just do? He just requested to release his files, right?
Mhm.
And if I'm not mistaken, they released them, but I wasn't ready to read them yet.
Yeah, I got it.
So I feel like we need to have this conversation because at the end of the day, Martin Luther King did not want to be Martin Luther King. I feel like his father, from research, his father pushed him to be who he was. And
Yep,
that's why he was doing the things that he was doing. And he didn't wake up until Malcolm stepped in.
Mm, mm,
And that's why his wife didn't want those files released. She didn't want those recordings released.
right.
Wasn't he sleeping with white women and doing all types of stuff?
I don't know.
And
I
do I
don't. I,
knock him?
I don't know what he was
Absolutely not. No,
doing.
I don't. But it is what it is, and we need to be told the truth.
Oh yeah, I got that book too. Black Americans in the FBI Files. Right, I read that.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
so I
yeah.
don't know what information they're going to extra information they're going to have, but a lot of information is already in this book by Kenneth O'Reilly, Black
Hmm.
America and the FBI Files. Also, the FBI has a website
Right, you sent
that
me
you
the
can
link.
go on called the FBI Vault. And
Right.
all you got to do is plug in Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and it'll already give you the paperwork. So
Hmm.
if there's something else they have on Dr. King, I don't know.
And then you
Um,
just spoke of Marcus Garvey. Nobody is talking about him. Why did Biden pardon him? Because if you think about it, Biden has been giving us hints from the last few months before he stepped down. Why? Nobody has answered this. Why did he pardon Marcus Garvey? I need
that's
somebody
a
to
good
answer
point.
me that. And I think that he was sending a message to the black community. Why? Because tell the people about Marcus Garvey. What was he about? Why did he get arrested? Why? Like, tell us.
He
Why
got
did
arrested.
Biden pardon him? And I want to know why.
Well, he didn't do anything wrong. They convicted him of mail fraud because they didn't have nothing on him really.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
for Biden to pardon him,
But he pardoned him, but it wasn't I forget how they put that. They didn't say he was innocent. They
Just pardon.
pardoned him. Yeah, they
but I
just
feel
pardoned
like
him.
he did it for a reason. And I feel
Yeah.
like black folks need to wake up. And
I
they need to
mean,
study who this
who
man
knows?
is.
The fact of the matter is Marcus Garvey is dead and he died in abject poverty and alone because the United
Two
States
white
of America,
roommates.
Hmm.
yeah, the United
And I
States of
feel like we
America
need to really study who
destroyed him
he is.
because he was trying to unite his people.
Exactly. And I feel like we need to really study who he is and what he was about and educate the people about who he is. And we need to prepare. Whatever he told us to do, we need to do it. Because Biden didn't pardon him for no reason.
Okay, That's a good point.
Yeah, and you got to take it like you just said, Mal, and you got to put in the proper context. You got to know that it's not enough to know he was pardoned.
Right.
First, realize he wasn't guilty to start with.
Exactly.
But see, the thing is, people don't want to talk about it because you got to talk about the black folks who were involved with the Garvey Must Go whisper campaign.
And I'm ready to talk about it because I want to. I'm telling you, we got to prepare for something that's bigger than us. Because they already prepared and
That's
we
a
not.
larger
We still
discussion. That's
sitting
a
over here
larger
on live and ain't
discussion.
doing nothing.
Yeah, and it's almost like
And,
a
and no,
micro.
I'm not talking about us. I'm just saying in general. That's why y'all don't see me in the streets no more because I'm tired of screaming at buildings and nobody putting in work. Stop inboxing me if nobody ain't gonna put in work. That's why I've been over here quiet.
Yeah, and the discussion around the Super Bowl is almost like a microcosm of the problems that have affected the movement in general, right? Like we have people that are sincere, then we have people that, you can flash $5,000 at and they'll sell the next man out, and it ain't got to be 5,000, it could be 500, like so, like all of this needs to be framed around organization and how we move forward and how we, isolate those that we may not trust with certain information.
Mm-hmm. Ambassador Joy.
Yes,
Hey, sister.
Hey, Mal. I was trying to mind my business, and the conversation was getting real, real good. Then y'all got Mal up here. I said, let me hop on for just a second. I appreciate y'all. I respect all of y'all to the utmost. I think we have, in regards to like the Super Bowl halftime performance, we love giving energy to stuff that really ain't a chinchilla sometimes. And I don't know, why we do that. I love Kendrick Lamar. Don't get me wrong. I've been rocking with him since he was K Dot. When he really didn't have anything. He has poems that went harder than his halftime performance. He's a Pulitzer Award poet. He has music videos with more subliminals than he dropped in the halftime performance. So I'm not saying that he's not a revolutionary artist. I think, we learned during the Renaissance, during civil rights, our artists play a major role in our revolutions. But artists gonna do what artists gonna do. They're gonna drop a covert message and go back in the house and write something else down. And it's the time and the place for that. And we need that. And they contribute to the movement. And we appreciate the writers and the poets and the authors. And we need to be educated and we need to learn about it. And there were messages, there was symbolism, all of that, you get credit for it. And still, like y'all were acknowledging, at any given point in time, less than 10% of the people really put in action and put in work towards revolutionary movements. And so until people start moving, we're going to keep going in circles and be in the same place. So I appreciate, Kendrick as an artist, and he's doing what he does as an artist. It's up to us not to be distracted and or to let that inspiration move us towards actual movement instead of is what I'm disappointed about in this whole since January 20th, I guess I could say, is we have spent more time debating one another than we have getting together and actually, and Brother Paul, I commend you for like trying to call us together on this, but we've spent more time debating one another than we have getting together and actually putting some strategy and action plans together. And that is so contrary to the point. This was supposed to be a time where we mobilize and organize and unify, and we spending more time worried about what this and that means and who we agree with and who we don't agree with. It makes me wonder, like, I feel like we are more divided now. Not saying, we've romanticized the civil rights period, not saying that everybody was going to be on board anyway, but in some ways it feels like we are more divided now than people were back then. There were more nuclear families back then. There was more neighborhood and community camaraderie. There was less of this petty sets and neighborhood beef and everybody in competition with one another. Activists don't even want to work with other activists. We are like, it's a competition. Like, we really getting paid for this stuff. Like, people, I mean, some people might be getting paid. Let me not speak for everybody, but hey, we really acting like people got LLCs behind this and somebody gonna take your business down or something if you collaborate with somebody else on an effort or something. It's real weird out here. So yeah, I've been kind of quiet on the scene myself. In addition to taking care of my kid and myself, it's just real weird out here. And I'm just kind of waiting on. I'm ready to move. I'm ready to do stuff. I ain't all this talking ain't really hitting for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, they call it lip professors. But that's why we formed the Black Hoodie Brigade, to get some like minds together. On the first level, if you just want to be a foot soldier and spread knowledge independently, you're welcome. All we doing is spreading knowledge independently. As you go to the grocery store or the gas station or the barber shop, you just spreading information one book at a time. Read a book, teach a book. Read a book, teach a book. That's it. The study group, and we've incorporated the fact attack. Thanks to Sister Duffy, the fact attack is going to be more aggressive. You know, when people disrespect Durham, disrespect Black culture, we want all the smoke. We got the books, we got the research. So that's what the study group's about. That's going to be the think tank. And then it's the elite group, the Black Hoodie Brigade Special Forces. That ain't for everybody. That ain't for the weak-hearted, because we're talking about boots on the ground. We're talking about rolling the city council. We're talking about rolling the public forums, bringing the information. So if you say you love Black culture in Durham, really, there's room for you in one of those three categories. If you don't fit in one of those three categories, I question your commitment to Black culture. Brother Sharif, if you are still on and you want to come on the live, brother, you're welcome. I can send you the link. I don't know what happened to Megaphone Mal. I think we lost her signal. So maybe she'll come back on. But
she dropped the mic. She said what she had to say and dropped the mic.
Her what? Oh, she said what she said and dropped the mic.
Yeah, she's out. Yeah, that's how she do.
Yeah. But brother Dale, you got some more to add on about the
I was reading the comments. Brother Jeremiah said that's been the plan for the last 60 years separation. It's been longer than that. I encourage you to read People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn. It talks about Bacon's Rebellion. Bacon's Rebellion happened way back before America was even formed, when some of the poor settlers and some of the indentured servants and some of the slaves teamed up together to fight, the wealthy British royals. I don't know if it was the House of Burgess or whatever, back in colonial Virginia. So at that point, according to how it was in, that's when they decided that they had to separate us up in little groups to keep us fighting each other. So just to add on to what the brother said.
Indeed. But if you want to talk about the symbolism, let's talk about that for a minute. People saying there was a lot of symbolism. I get that. If you really want to study symbolism, read the ISIS papers, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. The ISIS papers, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. She really goes into the symbolism. But my question for the group is what Kwame Ture will argue. Your message is only as good as the people who understand it. Your message is only as good as people who understand it. Getting your point across. I don't care if you talk so-called ebonics. The bottom line is getting your point across. Do you think that the point was given? See, I'm an old hip-hop head. I'm used to Public Enemy. I'm used to X-Clan. I'm used to KRS-One, who talked very specific and deliberate so everybody could understand. There was no excuse that you couldn't understand Chuck. There's no excuse that you couldn't understand Griff, couldn't understand Flav.
Right.
But There's no excuse that you couldn't understand Brother Jay. No excuses.
Right.
When the people say they couldn't understand Kendrick Lamar, I kind of get that. So if the purpose is to be understood and people don't understand, and I get it, it's Hollywood. It's a business. I've seen, as a hip hop writer, I've seen it from the other side.
Right.
And in order to even get on that stage, there have to be certain concessions. Now you can, and Brother Jeremiah's an artist, so I think he can bear witness. There's certain concessions you got to make to get in certain spots. If you want to tell the truth and be blackity black, you can do little clubs.
Right.
Hole in the wall.
But that's why I think this was so. That's why I think this was so big, because it was so black and so defiant on such a big stage. So, you know, all the symbolism to me points as a W for black people. But, you know, me personally, I'm gonna take a W for us every time I can get one, because we ain't had many.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But
and the other thing I would say regarding your point about KRS and Brother Jay and those brothers, I think a variable that we need to factor in, at least in my case, is what I try to remember is I'm old now. So when that hip hop was going on, my mother was younger than I am now, and she didn't understand it. So there's always going to be a generational thing in it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to discount the young people's music because it ain't necessarily for my ears, or I don't feel it. If they feeling it, and I, you know, not that Kathy Hughes is the person that, you know, I would always take advice on, but she said she was having a Super Bowl party. I was listening to her talk about it, and she said the young people all understood it. It was, you know, and she took it for, you know, what she saw, the symbols that she saw, and what, you know, because I mean, like, it was on the prison yard, like it was hanging out on the corner. He was on the Regal, you know, he had Samuel Jackson and Uncle Sam. We ain't never seen a black Uncle Sam before. Like, white people go crazy when we damn make characters black. We know that. The Little Mermaid shit, Barbie, whatever. Uncle Sam, we ain't never seen Uncle Sam black before. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't any story that's commonly known, they don't want a black character as the lead in. And we got Uncle Sam, who is the most American symbol other than the flag that there is, and he was black. He was Samuel Jackson, but he flipped it again because Samuel Jackson was Stephen and John. You know, I still think there was a connection there. People, that's my interpretation, though, and that's another point. It's subjective. It's what you get out of it. It ain't. Nobody can really tell you how to feel about it or how to interpret art. It's art.
Right. Right. It's art, and that's my point. I mean, Kendrick Lamar, I love him. Like I said, I'm a fan. He could have stood in the middle of a field by himself with a spotlight on. I would have been like, oh, that's dope. Right? Just because I'm a fan. He's so brilliant that if he wanted to make a really profound statement that enticed a revolution and got the people going, he would have did that. I think the main one of the main symbolisms that he brought up for me, and again, I even hate debating something above my pay grade, that's so above my pay grade, but anyway, one of the main points of symbolism for me was, I didn't even notice it when I was watching the game. I didn't even catch the angle that he created a PlayStation controller out of the field.
I missed that.
And the top part of the controller was a prison yard. So it was a
you know, and I missed that until the recaps and the aerial views and stuff like that. Basically, what I think he was doing, and I beg, like you said, art is subjective. I think it was more Uncle Tom than Uncle Sam. Hey, too loud, too ghetto. You know, what are y'all doing? I think what he was showing was, let me just get up here and play the game. I'm gonna get up here and do y'all favorite song. It wasn't no risk of him getting sued. He knew that before he performed. He had all his contracts signed. He had his bodyguards out there. If y'all don't think the I's was dotted and the T's was crossed, all this, he did it anyway and all that. Nope, all of that. He probably submitted a transcript of his lyrics. Everybody knew everything he was going to do and everything he was going to say, you know, beforehand. It was like, you know, like Kanye said, it gets the people going. It's provocative. If he really wanted to go and shut something down and incite something, he would have did that. Yeah, like the Squid Games references and and all that. He's a brilliant guy. If that's what he wanted to do, he would have did that. What he did was an artist move to keep his name in the news cycle and in the algorithm, and it worked. He did bare minimum, in my opinion. Granted, if you know Kendrick, he ain't a Chris Brown type. He ain't dancing everywhere, jumping up and down and stuff anyway. So, you know, that's the type of artist he is. But he didn't even get background dancers per se. You know, he didn't even get a live band like people were criticizing. Want no fireworks, want no smoke, want no light. He did. He went up there. He played the game. He did the bare minimum. He sung the songs that was popular to people, and he got up out of there. And I appreciate how we want to cling on to something so much, but I love him, and I'm not trying to like throw too much shade on him. I just don't think it was that deep. I just don't. I think he told us what he was doing. He played the game,
and that's your opinion, which can nobody else can say that's right or wrong. That's the point about art. You know what I'm saying, to me. But I'm glad you brought up Squid Games, because that's the other thing. So I made a post. I did a little 30-second take. So yeah, being black in America is like playing Squid Games. Have you seen Squid Games, Brother Paul?
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah. So that's another symbol, and that's a fact. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might get picked off the mark, you know, but like, it's lit. Well, you know, it's fun. You know, you living like that. I guess we don't know any other lifestyle. So like, yeah, you know, it was. I didn't expect much, because I don't expect much out of nobody. So like, it would have been hard to disappoint me. But I don't. That's not to say nobody else's opinion is wrong. You know,
right?
That's all I say. And the sister said, mumble rap. Sister, what is it? Hold on. Natasha said mumble rap should never be a thing. What I would say to that is, what is Bone Thugs and Harmony, and what is Das Effect or Fushnickers? Because I'm a hip hop guy.
Yeah, everybody plays a role. I think, you know, if, like I said, if he really wanted to represent mass incarceration, it wouldn't have been a yard scene with everybody partying. That ain't mass, you know, that ain't necessarily shed a light on the, you know, the gross injustice of mass incarceration. Like, I think he
had 10 minutes. He had 10 minutes or 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like, the only thing I'm saying is, they had ZZ Top, Dave Matthews, people I don't want to even hear. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't say I wasn't. I mean, I probably said something, but I wasn't mad. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it wasn't all this discussion like, oh, did Dave Matthews, should he have had rain? You know what I'm saying? So like, all I'm saying is, judge your own people the same way you judge people on the outside. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't saying you, sister, personally. I'm just saying, as a group of people, we seem to show grace to everybody but our own damn self.
Yeah, and that's horrible. I love the blackness of it. I love how blackety blickety black it was. I love seeing black men. I love seeing over 40 black men, you know what I mean, stand strong and share a stage together. I loved all of that. I loved how he, you know, was like, nah, we American too. And that's just how we do it. You know, I loved all of that. I love what he did, you know, with his time, and that's on him. Like you said, I don't like how that turned into a debate between us. And I think, you know, we could have took it for what it was. Kendrick did his thing in the way that he wanted to do it. Respect to him as an artist. They said that, you know, we playing into the game too. His halftime performance is now surpassing views of Michael Jackson's halftime performance. He wanted us to talk about it. He getting his residuals.
And all those streams he's getting. People weren't even familiar with his music, and now going, let me stream this. Let me stream.
Now he's top number 1 in 25 different countries. Like he said, like he told us what he was doing. He played the game. He's now streaming number 1 in 25 different countries. It don't matter if y'all liked it or not. He getting paid. I heard off of those streamings, he's grossing right now about 60 million, 50 to 60. It don't matter. We couldn't even afford a ticket to the Super Bowl. Who cares what you think about his performance? He played the game. He did what he had to do. He walked away, and now he's sitting here counting his checks, period. He ain't gonna be, and he told us at the beginning. He said the revolution will be televised. Y'all picked the wrong time and the right time, the wrong guy. He told you at the beginning, I'm not even your guy.
That is, that is what he said.
And that's subject to interpretation too, because he said what now? He said you picked the right time, but the wrong guy.
Yeah, that's what he said.
He might not have been talking about himself. He might have been talking about the election.
That's true. I think it was
that's kind of true.
That's what people have said, that he was talking about the current administration. I also think that he appeased his audience with the color scheme, and that's what it goes back to me. I think his main message was he just played the game. Hey, I'm just here so I don't get fined and I get paid, period. He didn't get paid directly as a Super Bowl performing artist, but the views and the residuals.
Yeah, he's gonna get it on the back end.
And a whole new audience. They might have the right-wing conservatives and them folks might have hated, but their children are listening to Kendrick Lamar today.
Yeah, fact.
Their children are listening.
And now, but let me hate on. I don't know one Kendrick Lamar song from beginning to end.
Be humble. Sit down.
I don't know. I don't listen to him. I'm a child. I was a child in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? So that's my era. You know what I'm saying? I listen to some new stuff, but like I don't. I love J. Cole. You know what I'm saying? If I got to pick between the three, the quote unquote big three, I'm taking Cole. But I love the performance, regardless of if I listen to him or know his songs or not. And
I encourage you to listen. He ain't bad.
I think he was brave for doing it, and I'm not gonna hate on him until I hear all this hate for ZZ Top.
Yeah, I mean, I encourage you to listen to him though. For real, if you got a moment, he ain't that bad. I think the rap beef thing, the Drake beef thing, that ain't even really his lane. I think that's kind of like overplayed. Somebody Jeremiah.
I love the beef. You know what I'm saying? That was a part of hip hop from day one. As long as it stays on wax. When it spills off of wax and goes into the street, that's when we got a problem.
Yeah.
Ethan Takeover is two of my favorite records of all time. So I like it. I like it's a sport. Like, but now when you get personal like they do these days, that's probably going too far, and that's how it spill into the street.
Yeah. Jeremiah in the comments asked, how much of that money goes back into community. I have read, because I like reading biographies. I have read that he actually donates millions and millions into his own community, into mentorship programs for Black boys, into he runs a cohort where he he's poured more than $10 million to help Black businesses, startups, feeds into Black entrepreneurs. That's what I respect about Kendrick Lamar the most, is because you're not going to see him out here advertising that or kissing little Black babies for viral social media posts and stuff like that. He just gives, just like people didn't know, he is a good father and has had a long-term girlfriend, but like people don't know J. Cole is married. Like I appreciate artists like that don't, like J. Cole buys houses for single mamas. You don't hardly hear about it until somebody, says it, right? So Kendrick Lamar, from what I have read, and you can't trust everything that you read, but I've read on several occasions that he does intentionally pour back into his neighborhood, pour back into community. He's another one of those that will ride his bike around his neighborhood, doesn't travel with bodyguards. And that says something to me. That means that you have enough respect in the hood or in your neighborhood. People know you enough that you could walk around as a regular person and not get touched. And so, yeah, I think, I respect him for that. I think he does pour back into the community. Now, I'm not in his pockets to know what percentage of his earnings that is or nothing like that, but he does do things.
Let me throw this little caveat. This is what I would like to see. Now, I know he with Rock Nation. Well, no, he's not with Rock Nation, but Jay produced the Super Bowl. Same thing, the halftime show. I know there's certain deals because Jay hasn't been known as conscious since he was with Jazzos in 1988. Jay-Z used to be a Nawabian, so he knows the science.
Yeah.
He was a Nawabian. If you look at Jay-Z's
Dr.
first,
Malachi York.
Yeah. If you look at Jay-Z's with Jazzo, the originator, not Hawaiian Sophie, but the next one, the originators, they got Marcus Garvey in the background. They got red, black, and green. So Jay knows, but being a billionaire, a smart man, he knows there's certain things you don't do. What's that line he said? I used to try to rhyme like common sense, but I made $1 million. I haven't rhymed conscious sense.
I made $5 million. I ain't been rhyming like common sense. That's moment of clarity.
Yeah. See why we got this think tank going on for stuff like that, because I don't be knowing everything. But there's certain concessions you got to make. Now, I can't see Chuck D or Griff in front of the president of the most powerful man in the world without flipping the lyrics to one of that song to talk directly to him. What if, hypothetically, I know it's probably beyond the rules and everybody ain't trying to be a martyr. Like Huey P. Newton said, everybody ain't trying to commit revolutionary suicide. Everybody ain't built like that. Entertainers, they ain't built like that. Jay-Z ain't built like that. But suppose he would have changed the words to Not Like Us and made it about Trump. You know how powerful that would have been?
No,
I mean, in the long run, you might have got some heat, but that would have elevated your status to legendary. I think that's what Chuck and them would have done back in the day.
Would it though? Or would we have said, oh, he just doing that because, Jay-Z told him and the Illuminati called him at 4:30 in the, you know what I'm saying? Like,
we would have been hating.
Right. That's what I don't get it. I do get it because you know what it is? Post-traumatic slave syndrome.
Joyce DeGruy. If you don't have that book, get it. Post-traumatic slave syndrome, Joyce DeGruy.
Is it disorder or syndrome? Post-traumatic slave disorder, right? PTSD. Same.
Syndrome. Let me look it up.
Okay. Either one. Dr. Joy DeGruy. Yeah, that's what it is. Like, we practice white supremacy too. We practice it better than white people. Let's just be honest.
We do. We're indoctrinated, and the thing is too, you got a whole bunch of criticisms from people who probably ain't even Kendrick Lamar fans, because if you were familiar with the songs, you would have been familiar with the lyrics, and you would have known he be 10 toes down for the black community. That's why he even called Drake a colonizer in the first place. Drake pop up, do a video to get a check or whatever, and he be there.
That's why I love the song, because guess what? I don't F with Drake. Okay, Drake is a fraud, man. He is not from no hood. And that's fine. But don't, what I'm saying? Drake should do, in my opinion. This is my opinion on, and this doesn't reflect Brother Paul or nobody else. Drake should have came into the culture the way Eminem came into the culture, respectful, because Drake is not hip hop. Drake grew up in Canada and went to Memphis and learned how to rap after he went on Degrassi. Like, Kendrick is from Compton. You know what I'm saying? So like, don't try to play gangster with somebody who grew up in the hood. That's just,
Right. Don't get me started. Drake ain't even a rapper. Like you said, he's a talented entertainer. He can do everything. He like to sing. He like to act. He like art. He like to draw. He like to paint. And then he just so happened to learn how to rap. Then he tried to do trap music. Then he tried to get on an Afro beat. Then he went back. He's an entertainer. It's like Beyonce. I ain't gonna deny his talent. But I don't know if I would, that's just like I said, it's me as a high message. I personally don't even really think he a rapper. I don't know who he is. If we got caught up in the street somewhere, I don't know if he gonna hide, shoot back, cry. Like, I don't even know who this dude is.
He cry.
Brother
let me
Paul,
just do clarification, girl. Post-traumatic stress disorder is the disease, but the book is post-traumatic slave syndrome.
Okay. So post-traumatic
disease is like Sister Duffy said. Tish, like Tish says, because we have Letitia and a Tish in the.
Well, peace to both of y'all, sisters. Thank you for joining us tonight. Yeah, but
the disease is the disorder. The book is syndrome.
Okay. Okay, got you. Copy that. Yeah, but yeah, it just like, you know, I just give grace to the performance. I'm not gonna go with a fine tooth comb. I was reading all the think piece and I was like, damn, it was 15 minutes. Like, but the other thing is, and this is the other thing, the game was so terrible, that's all you had to talk about. Because it was a terrible ass game. Like
Facts.
Yeah, I mean, could it have
what
been more? Yeah. But would it have made the Super Bowl if you would have done more? Nah.
Nah, it wouldn't have helped Super Bowl. That was pitiful. But I think it was a moment in time, and I want what you started off by saying, Brother Paul, was how do we take this and build on it? And that's the main thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's go there before we close out.
Yeah,
that's why I only invited people, the Black Hoodie Brigade. I only invited the Black Hoodie Brigade on some of these. Sometimes we're open up to the public, but besides Brother Sharif, who was a member of the original Militant Mind Militia back in the day, does a lot of work in Duke. I mean, a lot of work in Durham. I just wanted people who have a vested interest, who have committed to making the Durham better. People you can actually see on the streets. We're accessible. We're out there doing work. We're not just talking to hear ourselves talk. We're actually doing work in the streets. So I wanted this to be for members of the Black Hoodie Brigade only. And I hope that's understandable. But yeah, the question is, after all these discussions, we got 2-year-old children being shot in Durham. We got 15-year-olds being killed by 14 years old. How do we apply that energy on a boots on the ground level, even if it's in the social media streets, to make Durham better? I practice something called panhoodism. Panhoodism says the road to unite all African people starts in your own hood. The road to uniting all African people worldwide throughout the diaspora starts in your own hood. How can we talk about anything else that's happening in New Orleans or California or Chicago when there are 2-year-old children being shot a block down the street? So how do we use this energy? I'm opening this up to anybody in the chat, Dale, Joy. This is what we have to deal with in Durham. We got all this happening in Durham: gentrification, homelessness. We got all these problems. How do we take this same energy from people who say they loved the performance and translate that into tangible, concrete work right here in Durham?
Yeah. I always got an opinion. I think, going back to what I was saying before, is like Black people practice white supremacy better than white people. It's an ongoing struggle. We always trying to convey to our youth that reality, what looks like your reality, may not, it doesn't have to be your reality, right? You have some say in how your life turns out to a degree. Random things happen, but by and large, if you stay away from things that are negative and detrimental to you and try to do things that are positive, you should be okay. And why one of the main questions for me is, why are we so quick, going back to why we hating? I guess it's kind of tied into like why I don't like to see Black people hating on the Super Bowl performance. Why are our young people so quick to shoot each other, but would take all the kind of disrespect, see their mamas and daddies and grandmamas take all kind of disrespect from people outside the community, and they won't bust a grape?
Yeah.
So like that energy is there. I think Dr. Amos Wilson said that all emotions exist for a reason. So when you get angry, it's a use for that. It's a positive use for that. But the positive use, in my opinion, is not against your brother. It's against the people responsible for putting you in the condition that's causing you to want to kill your brother.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we got to get a lot more hands-on. So first, people need to be honest with themselves about whether or not they are down for action, down to actually spend time with the people. I'm actually thinking about starting some sort of sisterhood circle or something, because the division amongst Black women too is just getting really, really ridiculous. So we got to get hands-on. We got to talk with the people, and even just helping to empower us and helping us remember who we are, helping us remember what makes us tick. Neuroscience and psychology teaches us that one of the reasons why our kids act up around us the most is because they feel comfortable enough around us to be vulnerable and show their true emotions. So if you drop your kid out to a babysitter, you pick them up, they're like, oh, your kid was great. And you're like, wait, really? Because they be acting a fool around me. Well, it's because they tighten up around strangers because they don't know how that stranger is going to react to their behavior. So they just going to sit down and shut up and do what they're told. And they get around you and they going to cry and fall out on the floor. And it's actually because they feel safer around you. I wonder if that phenomenon translates into like why we spaz on our own and argue on our own. If we intrinsically feel safer around one another to show our raw feelings and our raw emotions, can we empower ourselves to translate that into a real sense of safety and in a real sense of unity? But yeah, I think we really have to be honest with ourselves about whether or not we're going to be hands-on, especially with the YNs, as they call them, with our youth. They've been wild, and y'all, they've been terrorizing our community. From my perspective, I know of a couple of young mothers who have dropped out of school, not even going to school because gang-related affiliations. It's not even safe for them to leave the house. It's not even safe for them to be out in the community. You got folks that'll say, man, they try to knock me off every day. And so who is sitting down with these folks and figuring out what support do they need? There's an African proverb that I'm about to mess all the way up, but it's like the child who don't feel love will burn his village down to feel warmth. And I think like that we're experiencing that, and I don't see any other way around it besides to get hands on. If you hated the halftime performance, figure out what you can do differently. Right. Do something that you love. If you love the halftime performance, figure out how you can spread that type of mentality. But it's gonna be up to you to get beyond talking about it and really get hands on and really get in people's faces, build trust and relationship. The last thing I'll say is like, sometimes the truth hurts, sometimes love is truth, and sometimes the truth hurts. And you can't really have this level of hard conversation with people, especially people who may not be doing the best things for our communities, unless you have a certain level of rapport or trust or relationship with them. You just can't go into a stranger's face criticizing everything that they do, right? So really get out there and really start building relationships with people, really figure out what people have going on, and you will learn a lot of things around what makes people do what they do. And then we can start to teach and mentor and empower. And what I'm aiming to do is change the condition so that people can not have to deal with the same things, and then they can truly move different.
And everybody has to play their role, because Joy, usually you mostly deal with the babies, and I didn't understand. I mean, I understood, but I didn't grasp the need for that, because I usually work with like older teens, 16 and above. That's my target area where I'm out there on the streets. That's who I try to target, try to recruit to the Black Hoodie Brigade, 15, 16, and adulthood. But until I became a grandfather and I could see where it starts, I had all the more respect for you, sister. Because we don't get them when they 1 and 2, and start showing them love, we lost them. I didn't really grasp that until I became a grandfather. So it has to be every area we can reach our people. Every area to reach our people. You can say something?
Absolutely. Yeah, I was gonna say absolutely. And like you said, it translates. So we see, the mamas that don't particularly love themselves the best. And so now they let everything fly when it comes to themselves, their bodies, their kids, and it just translates and it just creates this cycle, right? So yeah, you start young, you teach them young, you set the standard, but we're not going to be able to do that and influence people's lives and encourage people on how to move differently if we're not in their face, like you said, Brother Paul. If you're not in the streets with them, if you're not, they'll never, that's the problem I think with a lot of our elected officials of why they're not respected. I don't see you at the grocery store. Your kid don't go to school with my kid. You don't be, at the meet. You're not even accessible. You don't even answer my email, and then you want to tell me what I'm supposed to be doing, right? Yeah. But yeah, we got to build rapport and build trust and really work to change the conditions. Some people don't know what else to do. Some people don't see any other way. When you don't got no food, you ain't got nowhere to live. When you can't even sleep, you got one eye open because you don't know the next person that's about to shoot your house up. It's hard to do some of the things that other people might see as practical. Like, we got to start at the bottom, meet people where they are. And like you said at the beginning, do something. Stop just talking about it. Make your commitment. Be honest with yourself about what you're going to do to help impact the condition.
And it's nothing too big, nothing too small. Just be consistent. Walk the walk and talk the talk. That's all we ask. You mentioned the YNs. And that's my latest article on the low. It'll be out in probably a week or two. Y'all know where it's going to be. I ain't got to mention it. So, but look for it there. So it should be out either next week or the week after next. And the usual place you can read my article, really the only place you can read my articles on a national level. So I got a book about the YNs. I got an article about the YNs I just wrote yesterday. But yeah, that's another phenomenon because Huey P. Newton and Marxist theory, if we talk about dialectical materialism, the science of dialectical materialism treat everything as phenomena. Step away from an emotional, no matter how you feel about what somebody feels. Step away from the emotion and look at it scientifically. Even the whole YN movement. And I know a lot of y'all have read William Cooper's book, Behold the Pale Horse. The thing that I took away from that book is one of those top conspiracy books where he said, it doesn't matter if you believe it. What matters is that they believe it.
Right.
You might not believe nothing the street cats are talking about. It doesn't matter whether you believe it. What matters is they believe it.
Right. And the YNs, though, that's our bread and butter right there. Those are our soldiers. Those are our leaders. Those are our entrepreneurs. Those are our enforcers. If that energy could be rerouted into anything for good, we would have a whole army of on sites ready to go. So we just need to put in a little work and redirect some of that energy. They are so brilliant. They are so smart. They can make anything out of nothing. They ain't scared. I want some on my team. I'm a little old. I used to have some goons back in the day, whatever. But that's our goonies. That's our soldier. That's our army right there. We got to get them in line and we'll be all right.
Joy, we got them. If you go through one neighborhood in Durham, you're going to see red, black, and green, Black Hoodie Brigade flags flying. You're going to see people walking around with the merch. You're going to see people walking around with the wristbands. You're going to see people walking around with the T-shirts we gave out. You're going to see people walking around with a book. So in one Durham neighborhood, we got them.
Yeah, I love it so much. And like you said, it's respect. I'm entering into, my auntie phase right now. And they respect it. They'll move out the way when I'm trying to go in the store. Everything, right? So, just keep showing folks love and keep working with them. And, we'll get back on track. I have to be full of hope. That's what I have to do. But I'm tired of people complaining that it ain't putting in no work. And I understand that there's never a point in history where everybody put in work. But at least hush if you ain't gonna do nothing.
Yeah, if you ain't gonna talk about, because I tell people, I'm not trying to be short people, but Project 2025, whatever you want to call it, this ain't no joke for people. If we ain't gonna be about the work, I can get a dog and talk to my dog. I can talk to myself if that comes to it. But if it doesn't translate into doing work in Durham, again, where 2-year-old children are being shot, 14-year-old children, 15-year-old children are being murdered, by 50-year-old children, if it ain't dealing with how we're going to deal with that problem, and it's locally where we are right now, where our wives and our daughters and are walking the streets every day, I really don't have no time for no conversation, because people can talk you out of doing stuff. You know, by the time you finish talking to them, you so burnt out from talking, you ain't feel like doing nothing. So my thing is based on action. And I can show you, but I can tell you, I'm in the hood 4 or 5 times a week. Meet me in the hood. Those who know, you know. Brother Dale, you want to give some closing words? Or
only thing I want to say is repeat what Sister Joyce said. If you ain't gonna do nothing, just hush.
Yeah.
Just
In
hush.
2025, that's a move, because they're playing a whole new game. A whole new game. The way they flipped the name of Fort Bragg, Liberty, back to Fort Bragg, and said at the same time they named it after a different person, but they said welcome back. That's a whole new sophistication of white supremacy that they're playing now. It's on a whole different level. If you ain't bringing your thinking cap, you ain't bringing your A game and ready to stand on it. I think what Sister Trish was saying in so many words, if you can't say it with your chest, stay on the porch.
Because they playing in our face. And I know we got to go. It's getting late. But when you look at that U.S. South African U.S. resettlement plan and all this, they playing right in our face. They playing straight in our face. And shout out to the Black Hoodie Brigade for, you know, knowledge is a weapon, encouraging us to read, encouraging us to be informed, you know, stay ready so you don't have to get ready, that sort of thing. But they really, the information is right in our face. They playing in our face. And we got to remember too, these elected officials work for us. We don't work for them. We don't let them flip the game. The power belongs to the people. So the more we start worrying about all this petty stuff and divisive stuff, and we get on, take one good accord, one good effort, and it's gonna be shut down. And we just stand so in the hamster wheel and distracted, we can't even do that. But yeah, definitely encourage people to read up on everything that was mentioned tonight, because they try to play in our face like we dummies. And I know we ain't that.
Indeed. And the Black Hoodie Brigade, you know, we already got the uniforms, plain Black Hoodie. If you're interested, if you haven't gotten yours, I still have some Black Hoodie Brigade caps left. So the Black Hoodie Brigade, just put on your black hoodie, let's rock. Black hoodies in the winter, black t-shirts in the summertime. That's how we roll. Again, if you want to be part of this movement and you're serious and dedicated, that's important. We got 3 levels. One is the street soldier level. And that's the Black Hoodie Brigade. And that's only to spread knowledge around the Bull City as you go to the barbershop, like I already said, the gas station, just to spread knowledge. Teach one book to somebody who teach something to somebody who doesn't know. The study group, we need to develop talking points based on what we talked about today. Talking points. A think tank. We're going to attack Project 2025, wherever that is. If we're going to fight the Heritage Foundation, that's a real thing. That's a real concern. We got to develop talking points. We got to call into these radio stations. We got to have the fact attack when they're attacking Durham on WRL Facebook page and WTVD Facebook page. We got to have the fact attack to bring the truth. So the Black Hoodie Brigade, again, on a very basic level, has 4 points. Get a book, read a book, study the book, teach the book, and repeat the process. Get a book, study the book, teach it to somebody who doesn't know, and repeat the process. Those are only 4 steps of the Black Hoodie Brigade. The Black Hoodie Brigade, street soldiers, the study group, and if you're really down for the cause, if you really got the heart for the cause, we got the elite squad, the Black Hoodie Brigade Special Force, where we actually boots on the ground, going to the city council meetings, going to the hood teaching, going to public forums, and maybe making this real. So, because what good does it do to have all this knowledge of the ancestors and warrior scholars if we're not applying it in our own community? So, if you want to be part of this new movement in Durham, the Black Hoodie Brigade, you can Google the work we've been doing. It's on Google now, social media. It was underground for a whole year. It didn't become an above ground movement until last October. So, if you want to join this powerful movement, hit me up, inbox me. Meet me in the hood. Even better than that, meet me in the hood. Brother Dale, you want to close out or what's that?
I am good, brother. You said it all. You and Sister Joy and Sister Mal said it better than I ever could. So Black Power, we all we got.
Yeah, and it was see, I love having the Black Hoodie Brigade on these shows because it shows people it's more than just one voice. We are a unit. We only need, and what we're proving for Durham is we only need a handful of serious people to spark the revolution. Brother Dika is our Boston representative, one of our Boston allies. Brought him in to deal with the hip hop question for the most part, but he's one of our Boston allies because eventually we want to spread across the country. Eventually, the Black Hoodie Brigade is going to spread across first is Durham. We got to get Durham straight, then the state, then the country. So we're already making inroads, but first thing we got to do is get Durham and surrounding areas straight. So that's it for tonight, family. I love having my Black Hoodie Brigade family on to show the world we are a real movement. We're a real movement. You can catch us in the streets. You can catch us at the meetings. You want to be down? I got some more caps left. I got tons of books I can give you. We got tons of books that I'm giving away for free on the streets. Some of the books are reserved for the Black Hoodie Brigade. And we got wristbands. We got red, black, and green wristbands. So we got it pretty much solid. I want to thank everybody for joining tonight. There will be more meetings, more study groups. When the situation allows, more Facebook Lives. And these are just people who have dedicated. We just don't need anybody just giving opinions. These are people who you know that you can see at the meetings, see in the hood, have a vested interest in making Durham better, not only in the memory of the elders, in service of people who are here now, and most important to the babies yet born. So with that being said, I want to thank my Black Hoodie Brigade family. The new fact attack, I'm looking forward to that because we got to get at these people disrespecting Durham and disrespecting the culture. So that's the next thing we got coming out, the fact attack. I'm looking forward to that. So if there's nothing else, family, please share this, push the share button so people can watch the rewind, push the share button. And if not, if that's it, we'll leave you with the Black Hoodie Brigade motto: knowledge is a weapon. Thanks everybody for joining. Thanks, Brother Dale. Peace, family. Oh, Dale, tell them when your podcast comes on.
Oh, Gospel Ecclesia, every Sunday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It is our Facebook page, Gospel Ecclesia, the Gospel of Ecclesia. You can follow me there or YouTube.
All right. Check them out. All right, family. Peace.